Good evening. What a great crowd. It's a pleasure to welcome you here tonight. I do recognize the draw tonight is not me speaking, it's down the street here, so I will keep my remarks brief. So thank you first to President Miller for his remarks and to Pastor Nick Robinson for his invocation. They both helped set the tone for tonight, and I'm very grateful. I would like to give a special welcome to the elected officials here, including City Council members and Bartholomew County officials. And I want to give special recognition to Mayor Jim Lenup and his wife Pam. Thank you for being here, and you're over here somewhere, right? There he is. As you know, the city transitioned to a Class II city in January, and now we have 2 additional council members serving the city. I want to acknowledge our city council members, so if you could all wave or stand, because they've been extremely gracious as we work through new processes, expectations, and even new seating arrangements. So where's our city council members? You want to stand? That'd be great. So if you look at your program, you'll notice our word of choice tonight is possibility. This seems fitting as we're in a building that just 5 years ago housed a few retail establishments, abandoned stores, and was used primarily as a walking venue. With the opening of the CRH facility last month, the field house and fields officially tonight, and the park's community space in April, we're seeing those possibilities turn into a reality we never dreamed of. We started with the vague idea of a health and wellness center, but quickly realized our community had bigger ideas. At its completion, Nexus Park will boast 13 physician practices, labs, and a therapy pool, the Analytical Engineering Incorporated Fitness Center, a Child Watch Center, the Teaching Kitchen at Nexus Park, the Parks Administration Community Center and conference rooms, the Circle K Fieldhouse, John McCormick Fields, and the Community First Hub, the Toyota Material Handling, Recreation and Entertainment Center, restaurants and retail spaces to support visitors and residents, and a 2.5-acre landscape park plus a mile walking trail. That's pretty impressive. And that's just the beginning. We see the redevelopment of this area of the city as a catalyst for new businesses and providing huge growth to our sports industry, tourism industry. The repurpose of this well-used community space will evolve over time, and the next generation will create their own possibilities. In a few minutes, we're going to go into the field house to make it official, but I want to extend my thanks to the team who built Nexus Park. It includes too many people to mention by name, but the Columbus City and Parks team is at the top of the list. So if you were part of that, please stand and remain standing. A lot of them are right back here, I think. So I'm going to list some other partners, and I would like you to stand and remain standing. So first of all, we have the CRH team. So if you are part of the CRH team, please stand. Perkins and Will Architect and Design Firm, and thank you, they came all the way from Chicago today, and they're probably already standing, but I see them at the back. Stand up. The construction manager for the entire city parks project, Taylor Brothers Construction. I know you're here. Stand up. Force Construction and Design, they built the field house, will develop the campus, and they're a basketball courts donor. So where's our Force people? Step forward, they're at the back. Dunlap and Company is building the parks and community space. I know we have a bunch over here. Ovation Technology Group, who's a vendor and a donor. Kenny Glass Incorporated, that's also a vendor and a donor. LHP is a basketball courts donor. Forrester Electrical Services, and then Inspire Motives, Toby Heron. So I would love you to give a big round of applause for all of these wonderful partners. And I also want to call out our local media who supported this project by providing multiple articles and interviews, and they kept the public updated. And tonight we have several live streaming, so thank you for those who are streaming this at home. And I think we have a Facebook Live going on. And I know we have 2 people watching because their father told my 2 sons that he had to watch. So hi guys, thanks for watching, I love you. And if you moved back to Columbus, you could be here in person. So I have to admit, I've never been sure if a State of the City address looks backward to past achievements or forward to what we hope to achieve. So my goal tonight is to take blanket credit for all the great things that went well the past 8 years, point my finger over there that anything that didn't go well the past 8 years, and then we're going to focus on actions we need to take to move the city forward. As with every city, first and foremost, public safety is of primary importance. So having a safe environment is paramount to providing a quality of life which is attractive to residents, businesses, and industries. When people choose to live in an area, raise a family, or run a business, safety is a critical consideration in that choice. Providing a safe environment means having public safety officers, police and fire, who are well-trained and equipped with the tools they need to do their jobs. The city, in 2024, with council support, has committed increased resources to attract and retain good employees, and we've had impact. Although our police officers responded to an 18% increase in the number of calls this past year, we saw a 22% decrease in property crime reported. Criminal arrests, including drug arrests, remain stable, and overdose deaths decreased by 36% from 2022 to 2023. We've continued to put more tools into our intelligence-led policing unit. That's the work that ILP performs every day often goes unnoticed, as the measure of their success is through the absence of crime. Focused on property crime, their action is to prevent crime by identifying prolific offenders in the community and disrupting their ability to commit further harm. And we've had impact there too. Our firefighters are just as dedicated in providing a safe and secure environment through fire suppression, emergency medical response, disaster management, and public safety. Columbus Fire Department is currently working to receive accreditation through the Commission on Fire Accreditation International. This helps us identify best practices, continually self-assess, and improve services to our residential and business customers. Unfortunately, over the past few years, nationwide, we've seen an increase in violent incidents. So locally, we've become more focused on security for building and events, with more training for potential incidents. In the 2024 budget, City Council added a new department, Security and Risk, and over the next few years, you will see an increased focus on security in city facilities and parks and for employees and guests, along with more focused training for employees and the public. Another area which impacts our city is availability of safe, affordable housing. According to statistics, our nation is lacking 4 million units of housing. And I'm going to say that again, 4 million units of housing. That's a lot of housing. This lack is caused by a variety of reasons, including aging infrastructure, the cost of construction, baby boomers aging in place, and inflationary burdens. Columbus is not immune. We see the need for additional housing of various types here in Columbus and understand that each community has different demographic needs and will require different solutions. We've begun a housing study, needs assessment, which will identify our existing housing stock and recommend future housing strategies to ensure our housing market opportunities for all income levels across our population. Now, we're fortunate that we have several new projects underway, which will meet some of our needs, but recognize that providing affordable workforce housing is an area where it's difficult for developers to provide without incentives. As we move forward on study recommendations, the city is prepared to use any tools we have to increase affordable housing units for those who provide backbone services for Columbus. Nationally, homelessness has taken center stage as one of the most visible social ills of our time. And as we've learned, it often goes hand in hand with substance abuse and mental health problems. We've seen evidence of homeless persons in our community, including those living in tents and vehicles, staying in shelters, or with families and friends. Although it's hard to arrive at an exact number, general perception is that it has grown here, which is what we've seen across the country. Our community has shown extraordinary compassion in helping those in need and trying to identify options to address this issue. Unfortunately, the causes of homelessness are complex and varied, and many residents have security and safety concerns. Short-term help is necessary, but a long-term strategy which addresses individual needs is what experts believe will lift people out of homelessness. Complex social problems like this are not solved by one organization. They are solved through a coordinated system of programs, and that's something that Columbus does well. So tonight I'm pleased to announce that Mark Stewart, President of United Way, has agreed to lead a community-based initiative to move our community in the direction where homelessness is rare, brief, and non-reoccurring. Although we're still working on specifics, the city is committed to being one of the many partners tackling this critical issue. We will detail this initiative more over the next few months, but I wanted to say a public thank you to Mark and his team for stepping up to take on this challenge. The measure of a community is how it cares for its most vulnerable people. And where is Mark? I know he's here. Another basic service which affects the ability of our residents to lead productive, active lives is transportation. This year, we've begun focusing more intentionally on our city's transportation business model and re-examining the best way to deliver service. Public transit gets people to work, to schools, and to health visit, and if it works well, it also is an economic development tool that serves the needs of businesses. Like so many other public services, how individuals use public transit has changed, as many of our residents and workers don't have access to vehicles, can't afford the maintenance and upkeep, or choose not to or are unable to drive. Our current fixed route system, while functional, cannot easily meet the needs of our growing senior population and the change in how people work. It was designed for a different period of time. Our goal is to look holistically at the type of system that will best serve the needs of residents, both now as well as into the future. And so this spring, we're beginning a transit study to help deal with that. Municipal animal control functions date back to the mid-1800s. I don't know if anybody here remembers that, but I'm looking at Jeff and he's glaring at me. Programs were put into place to keep stray dogs off the streets to prevent rabies. But over time, local governments have developed much more proactive systems to control and handle stray animals. Animal control services have transitioned to providing animal care, and now focus is on reducing the number of animals coming into shelters and then moving them into new homes as quickly as possible. Today, we have a highly engaged and active public interested and involved in the care of animals in our communities, and as a result, they demand a high level of care for our animals. At the same time, we, along with many other communities throughout the state, have seen an increase in the number of stray and abandoned dogs and cats that require shelter, food, and medical care. Our current shelter was built in the 1980s and was designed with a planned expansion that never happened. This facility was not built to accommodate current demand and best practices, and we cannot keep up with the building maintenance. We've begun the process of reviewing how we can design and build a facility which serves current and future needs in a more cost-effective and efficient way. Animals are another vulnerable population which requires community care. A city's downtown is often referred to as the soul of a community, as it is typically the center of arts, economics, and civic pride. Like many other cities, we've seen the post-pandemic effects of remote workers and a shift in how people shop, dine, and congregate. It's taken a toll on our downtown economy, which now has decreased foot traffic, a depleted in-office workforce, and a perception that there's not much going on. I'm asked frequently what our new normal looks like. In fact, the Republic just asked that last week, right? You may have seen the article this past weekend. And I believe that is for us to determine. This is our opportunity to recreate and transform our downtown. We have a lot of possibilities in front of us as we move forward on the riverfront improvements and enhancements. We have several new housing developments going on, exploration of a performing arts venue, the repurpose of the old Sears and Irwin Conference Center, development along 2nd and 3rd Streets, and a renewed interest by our arts community in being more engaged downtown. According to Albert Einstein, the measure of intelligence is the ability to change. We don't have a choice. Change has been thrust upon us. We have to adapt and rethink how we create a downtown which is economically viable for businesses, welcoming to all residents and visitors, attracts talent, and showcases our legacy of architectural and design excellence. It's a tall order, but who better than Columbus to figure it out? April 8th, 2024. I hope by now you all know what that date signifies. For better or for worse, Columbus is in the zone of totality, and for about 3 minutes, all eyes will be gazing upward at the solar eclipse. One of my favorite quotes is from General Dwight Eisenhower, and I paraphrase, "Plans are worthless, but the act of planning is indispensable." So the city and the county have been engaged in planning for well over a year once we realized the significance of this event. We've benchmarked communities which were in the line of fire in 2017 and learned about the impacts of unbelievably large crowds, never-ending traffic, and the impact on businesses, restaurants, schools, and residents. This event represents a tremendous economic opportunity for our businesses and entrepreneurs, and there are a number of events being planned by local businesses and organizations. We applaud their willingness to be great hosts and welcome guests and tourists to Columbus. But we also encourage residents and businesses to follow guidance to stock up on food, medicine, and gas, and just stay home to enjoy the solar event. And I think there's the solar slide out here shows the website, so if you need any more information, please feel free to go there. One of the interesting aspects of living in Columbus is that everyone has an opinion, right? We get that. Now that has its pros and cons, but collectively the ability to tap into the creativity, the needs, and the imagination of those who live and work here has always produced amazing results. As I mentioned earlier, Nexus Park developed as a result of hundreds of voices giving ideas of what the possible could look like. Tonight we want to highlight a number of instances where your participation and voices are needed. If you look at the back of your program, you'll see several examples where community input is desired. First, every 3 years, Healthy Communities conducts a health needs assessment, which helps us set community health priorities. Please participate in this survey either online or by phone, which will be available from March 7th through May 27th. We also have a team investigating the need, desire, and feasibility of bringing a performing arts cultural venue to Columbus. Theater Projects has been hired to help us ask the right questions to get to the right answer, and tonight you have the opportunity to weigh in. There's a table right over here where they're collecting data. Thanks to Heritage Fund for leading this effort. Foundation for Youth, a valuable community asset for our youth, needs input on how to improve and expand programs to meet the needs of Bartholomew County youth and families. Please go to their website to sign up for a session and weigh in with your voice. Mental Health Matters, our community-wide mental health initiative, will have its first annual report on April 30th at the Commons. The Mental Health Matters team will share information about the current state of our community's mental health system, new initiatives launched in the past year, and work that is planned for the coming year. And I have been part of that initiative over the past year as the city is one of the 6 partners, and I will tell you that the team is working very diligently to try to provide guidance for the community as we deal with the mental health issues that we all see in our daily lives and our work lives. Our housing study survey will be released next month, and we're holding a town hall meeting on March 20th at City Hall. So please, we'd like you to attend and weigh in on this critical issue for our city. Finally, and don't you love that word, finally? Finally, I want to recognize Columbus City employees. I am so proud of the work they do day after day to make this city run. Often the unseen and unsung individuals who just take care of things. When it's a Wednesday, unless there's 6 feet of snow, it's a holiday, or there's a once-in-a-lifetime solar eclipse, I know my trash is going to be picked up. Every day, rain or shine, police and fire respond to calls, and more often, unfortunately, they involve angry and hurting people who need specialized care. Animals get fed and walked, we have clean water, and toilets are able to flush. Snow is removed, public transit takes patients to necessary medical appointments, and streetlights get us safety where we need to go. It may not sound important, but I know many of the people who make Columbus work. They do it proudly, and oftentimes they have to sacrifice in order to get their jobs done. So tonight, let me reiterate my thanks to all that you do, because tomorrow morning it will yet again be time to do it all over again. So if you will join me in thanking our city employees. So to make things official, although the state of Indiana deems us a Class II city, we recognize that the city of Columbus is second to none, and the state of our city is strong. Our legacy of partnerships, problem-solving, hospitality, welcoming spirit, and good old ingenuity tells the story of our past, and we owe a huge debt to those who came before us and paid it forward. The word of the day is possibility, and our city offers an endless supply. Thank you very much for being here tonight.